there's a perfect method for not perfect. There's no perfect method, but there's a high working method of getting negative reviews removed, and it's not the typical. All right, I'm brand registered. Let's go through the review reporting section of Amazon's backend. It's there's a link to a form where you can report to say, hey, this is a compensated review.
Right.
But a lot of the Chinese sellers we found have this little hack where they're actually using it to remove negative reviews instead, even though it has nothing to do with a compensated review. And that form has currently the highest success rate in removing negative reviews. But you can learn from the majority of them. But as a new seller, um, yeah, you can just generate a report. It's going to summarize something that's interesting actually. A lot of people were using Helium 10.
Hmm.
But then a lot of these software companies have had problems, I believe, with Amazon, and I'm not sure why. But there was a massive shift a few months ago where a lot of these other tool providers were coming over to VOC because they weren't able to get or analyze the reviews with these other tools anymore.
Hmm.
So they asked us all these different questions. What kind of partnership do you have with Amazon to be able to allow us to access all these reviews? And it's not an obvious answer. All I can say is that we've been saving and in the review analysis business for 5 years. And it started off solely, primarily as, okay, analyze these reviews. We want the software to analyze these reviews and let you know as the seller how you can improve your product or improve the product before you even get into selling it. And then that's kind of it.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of follow-up questions. The first one that comes to mind is you mentioned in the beginning there that a competitor can leave a review, which is something that, of course, we know, and you see like review bombings and stuff like that that happen on listings that are either they're using like fake accounts or some sort of bot or something, right? Is there anything that you guys do, or is there anything recommendations you have on how to deal with that? Whether it be gathering some evidence to say, hey, these are all fake reviews, they're from fake accounts. Is there a way to combat that?
Um, the best way to combat that is to take a screenshot, show Amazon that it's not a verified review, right? Which in some cases it's not, in other cases it can be. And then report it through that Asian hack, that Chinese hack, which is to report it via the compensated review form. Amazon will do their due diligence. It actually has a negative review removal tracker. So I'll actually track when the review is removed, aka when you click into that review, it now goes to a page, cute little dog picture, page cannot be found. But
Right.
then what we found is that sometimes, Amazon does that as a precautionary thing. So sellers and agencies think that they've removed that review and it's a success. Great. And a lot of them are using Excel spreadsheets to actually do this. Like, yep, this
Hmm.
review was removed. Our overseas team was able to get it removed. But then what happens is, like, hours or days later, it actually comes back, and they just don't have a software to they don't have really people double checking to make sure it stayed
Hmm.
removed. So I mean, the software does that, and that's kind of like where it helps. But yeah,
But yeah, so it can be tricky, right? Because if it is a verified
tricky.
review, there's not a lot that they would
Yeah.
be able to do.
And they want screenshots. Yeah. And then of course Amazon, it really depends on that account activity too, right? Um
Right.
if they've been flagged by other products as being a competitor and they see that those competitors only leaving negative reviews on similar products to the ones that they're selling, it's easy to get removed. If it's a newer seller account, yeah, it's easier to get removed. But the ones that aren't, we've seen negative reviews take like 5 or more different cases just to get a review removed, and that can be for the easy ones and for the hard ones. So it's you just got to have someone proactive on it and doing their
Yeah.
best at getting it removed.